So I'm in love with my Samsung Galaxy Tab S9. It's a great tablet, but that also means that I wanted the very best accessories for it. So I actually bought some great cases from Samsung, like the Smart Book cover, I bought the outdoor cover as well, and I also bought some other third-party cases from Amazon to test those out. I also have a few great Bluetooth keyboard options I've tested, and I also wanted to go over my favorite tempered glass screen protector and some other accessories as well. Now, if you are wondering about the slim keyboard cover for the Tab S9 or the book cover keyboard, I did actually cover those in a separate video, so feel free to check that out if you do have some time. But in this video, I wanted to give you some great alternatives because the keyboard covers can be very expensive. So with all that being said, let's get right into it and let's check out all of these accessories for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9. So I want to start out with cases because a lot of us really want to protect our devices and a lot of us want to save a lot of money in that process, of course. So I am going to start with one of the more expensive cases, but honestly, it's my favorite case for this Tab S9. It is the Samsung Outdoor cover, and the reason why I love this case is first off because of this kickstand. Whenever you put the tablet in this kickstand can act like a little bit of a briefcase for you. It can act like a handle so you could actually carry around your tablet like this, and you do not have to worry about the tablet coming out. If you look at the back of this as well, you can actually protect your S Pen. The S Pen does go both ways. It fits just fine in this case either way, and it protects it very, very well. This case also has a nice texture, and on the inside, it's very rugged. This is a very good rugged case, but it's also pretty lightweight as well. And when I put it on the scale, it weighs about 9.3 ounces, and that's pretty lightweight overall, because if you compare that with Samsung's other book cover, this book cover is really, really nice because it does have this very unique angle here with the kickstand, and this other book cover, well, you can't actually put it up vertically if you wanted your tablet to stand up like that. So a lot of people might want this because it seems very thin and lightweight, and because it can protect the screen because you have this secondary part on it. But if you actually put both of these together, by the way, and you factor in the total weight of that case weighs about 12 ounces. You're actually going to get a lighter case with this, mainly because you don't have anything covering up the front. But if you do put a tempered glass screen protector on it, this case does have really nice bumpers all around. It's going to be very protective. And if you look at this kickstand, it's actually very, very sturdy. It actually does go in several different positions. You could have this in all different types of angles, and it is going to stay put. So overall, this just has to be my favorite case. Now I know the $60 price tag might seem like a lot for this, but you have to factor in that the regular book cover keyboard costs like $200, and that does have a nice kickstand, which I really, really love. But getting a nice kickstand in a case like this means that I could have this kickstand here, and I could have a Bluetooth keyboard on the side. That's going to save me some money, but I still get a really protective case, a little more protective even than the regular book cover keyboard. And I also can get a nicer keyboard as well. I just have to bring it with me, and that's a little more hassle with traveling, but at least on the day-to-day basis when I don't need a keyboard, I could just have this with me. So it is definitely my favorite out of all of these cases, and it really has everything that I really want in a case. So the second case I want to talk about is also from Samsung. Now I will cover some other cases a little later that are around $20 if you're looking for that, but I wanted to cover some really nice cases first so you could really see what Samsung has to offer. And this is the Samsung Smart Book cover that I mentioned a little bit earlier. Now this case is really, really cool because it comes in two separate pieces. So this actually connects to where the keyboard would normally connect. And it's meant to just flip over the screen to protect the screen whenever you want to carry it around with you. But you don't have to attach this. And I really, really like that. Because if you are looking for the lightest case available or one of the lightest cases possible, this is definitely going to be super, super lightweight if you don't put on that extra flap to protect the screen. Now, it's not going to be the most protective case because just like the regular book cover keyboard, it does not protect the sides of the device, and that might be an issue for you. But if it's not, you can still put a tempered glass on the front to protect the screen, and you can protect the back because this does magnetically attach to the back, and it has this really unique kickstand here. So it's really hard to see at first because it's a very, very flat case. I really like how you could carry it around in this nice flat angle if you wanted to, but if you want to really release this case, there's this little flap here on the back. And when you push it down, you get this nice cool origami style kickstand. And it really reverts to the right side of the case. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because if you want to put your case up or down vertically or sideways, it's a great option because you have two different angles that you have. If you want to put your tablet on a table and have it standing up vertically, that's really, really cool. Remember, a lot of apps are actually meant to work in portrait mode still. I also love, again, that you do protect your S Pen with this little flap here. It's very similar to the book cover keyboard from this year, that it does actually protect your S Pen. And if you don't want this little thing to protect your S Pen, you can actually take it out as well. It's really a detachable part on the case. So I really like that, but one of the downsides to the case, if you do put a decent amount of pressure on the left-hand side, there is a way to get it to tip over. And if you do have it on your lap, remember, a lot of kickstand cases will have a kickstand that's all the way across. Like I'm even thinking of this outdoor cover here. There's a kickstand all the way across that could sit on your lap if you needed it to. But when you're looking at this right here, it only has this little origami part on the right side. So it's a little harder to keep on your lap as well. You're gonna have to position it very carefully. And that's one minor thing to think about. So it's a terrific case if you're wanting the lightest case possible, assuming you're not going to attach that other part. You don't always have to. So if you just want a really, really light case that attaches to the back, that protects your pen, and you want a case that gives you multiple angles like this is going to be a great buy. Now for $80, it is a little bit expensive, but I do like how it's cheaper than the book cover keyboard. If you don't need the keyboard, but you still want some cool functionality and you want multiple angles, this is going to be great quality. These two Samsung cases are terrific quality. They are fantastic, and I really think they made big improvements over last year's models, and I would recommend them both to you. They actually can be a benefit to those of you looking for a very premium experience. If you're moving on from that though, let's say you want to save some money. You're like, Zach, I am not spending 60 bucks on a case, and I am certainly not spending $80 on a case. I completely understand, so I wanted to get a couple other options to show you. So first off, I do have this case here from Timovo. Now, Timovo really makes a lot of cases that imitate Samsung. At least they make this case here. It imitates the book cover from last year from the Tab S8 and the book cover that released for the Tab S7. So some of you love that book cover and some of you did not like it. So one great thing about it is it's very, very lightweight overall. So if you actually weigh it out, you're gonna weigh it out at about 9.9 ounces. It magnetizes to the tablet, but you're gonna notice the S Pen is unprotected. If you want to protect the S Pen, you can put it on the inside, but it's not going to charge. But it is a little bit loose this year. I'm not really sure why. I was able to get it to hold my S Pen okay. I was able to close the case and it was working fine. But just one quick note is that the S Pen is a little bit loose inside this case, so it's not the most secure protection that you're going to be able to get. Whenever you do actually put the tablet inside this case, you're going to notice that it magnetizes to it. And once you actually use it, you can have two different angles, okay? You could theoretically flip the tablet upside down. You're gonna have this really weird forehead here, but you could technically use it like that and just use the bottom of the tablet. Keep in mind, you're gonna be covering up your volume buttons whenever you do that and the power button, but technically there is a different option if you need a different angle, and it does actually work like that on both sides. So I've had this case in the past few years with the Tab S8 and the Tab S7, and overall it was one of my favorite cases. There is still a little bit of protection on the sides because the case does stick out just a little bit. It's gonna be a very good lightweight book cover, and if you like those magnetic angles, that is a nice benefit to have. Again, it's only two angles, and it's like four, of course, if you flip it upside down, and that's a little bit inconvenient with the forehead and all that, but I still really like it, and you could find it normally for around $20, which is very, very reasonable. Now, the last case I want to cover is by Spigen. Now, it's a case you could find for about $26. Again, I have all of the links in the description, and it's really just a traditional book cover case. So it does actually, whenever you put the tablet in, it will actually close with this little book cover, of course. It will magnetize here shut so you could carry it around. It's got grips on the front, which is really nice, and and it has a little bit of grips on the back, so if you are carrying this case around, it is a little bit tougher to drop it. I do think the buttons are very tactile, they feel nice, they do feel a little bit firm, but I think that's a good thing because I don't think the buttons are going to wear out over time. So it's really just a traditional book cover where you have this little flap here that magnetizes here for one viewing angle here and one viewing angle on the other side. So it's very traditional, like a lot of older book covers from the past. So if you don't mind not having that kickstand, because the kickstand, if you want it, you're gonna have to pay like 30 more bucks and get the outdoor cover from Samsung. It's a really nice kickstand, right? But it does cost 60 bucks. So for those of you who are wanting something a little heavy duty, you're wanting something, even if it's not heavy duty, it's still medium duty, I don't know, it's still pretty protective. It's got nice bumpers, of course, on it. You're going to be able to protect your screen here, and you can also protect the S Pen because it has this little slot here that actually keeps the S Pen in its place. So it's going to do a really good job overall. It's a very trusted brand. I really do trust Spigen with their cases. They do a great job. I think this, again, is for those of you who want a little more protection. But for me personally, I am not normally someone who spends a lot of money on a case. I don't mind really slacking off with cases and getting something cheaper. I normally get $15 cases for my phones. But when it does come to a tablet that you're spending $800 on, I don't think it's a big deal to just spend an extra 30 bucks and really get a case that you're going to love. Especially when you're thinking about typing on a keyboard, you want a really nice case that you could use in a variety of use cases. And that's why, again, my favorite case is personally the outdoor case that you could actually use with this kickstand. Because of that versatility, it's only like an extra 30 bucks. And you can actually have a tempered glass to protect the front. Absolutely my favorite. I also like this other case from Samsung. It is $80, so it is a little more expensive, but it can be very lightweight, or you can protect the screen if you want that versatility, and you get that other angle. You don't get the unlimited angles like you do on the outdoor cover, but you do actually get one angle vertically as well, which I think that's really, really cool. So Samsung did a great job. I also think there's a lot of other great alternative options out there. I'm going to put a really heavy duty option out there in the description, so feel free to check out for all the links there. I'll put some of my other favorite cases there. And I now wanted to talk about keyboards, because a lot of you, if you're buying a nice case, you're buying an outdoor cover like this, you might be looking for a keyboard, because the keyboard cover, again, 200 bucks for that, right? Well, if you could buy a case for 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks, and then you buy a keyboard on the side, you could buy a really nice keyboard with that type of money and really enjoy yourself. Well, my favorite Bluetooth keyboard is going to be the MX Keys Mini. I absolutely love this Bluetooth keyboard. You could find it normally for around 100 bucks, and I love it because it charges with USB-C. It does also have backlighting, and it's one of the few nicer, premium, and smaller compact keyboards. It's not the smallest ever where you're really struggling to actually touch the keys properly or really struggling to type. It's going to work very, very well for you and give you enough room and enough travel, but I still like that it's compact because it's a little easier to travel with, and it's going to fit very nicely next to something like a Tab S9. Now, if you're wanting something larger, you could get the regular MX keys. That's going to get a little bit of better battery life, but both of those keyboards will last for a very long time. The only thing is the MX Keys Mini, it lasts a little bit less time if you turn backlighting on. But if you turn it off, for example, you're going to be able to get like 6 months of battery life. I've been able to get great battery life from my MX Keys, and you could always charge it anytime with USB-C anyway. But the regular MX Keys, it's a little bit larger, so you don't have to worry quite as much about the battery, but it's just a lot harder to travel with because it is a wider keyboard, of course. Now, if you don't want to spend 100 bucks, maybe you want to save a little bit of money, I don't blame you. Both of those keyboards will cost around $100, so if you want some other alternatives, the Logitech K380 is another one of my favorite keyboards. Now, it does run off batteries, so that is one negative. It does have circular keys, and some people might not like that, but it does still give you just enough travel, and even though it is a little bit crammed, it's not super crammed. The keyboard's a little bit smaller, but that is good for those of you who want to travel. You will get used to it. You will have nice travel on the keys. And again, it's not perfect. Of course, it's going to feel a little bit cheaper, but that's because it is. It's under 40 bucks. And if you compare it to a lot of other options that are out there, especially those janky keyboard cases that just come with a case attached. When you find those on Amazon, those are going to feel super cheap. This is going to feel a lot nicer than those. So if you get the K380 and another case, you could probably come out spending less than $100, and you'll come out a lot cheaper compared to spending like $200 on the regular book cover keyboard. Samsung also has another option for a Bluetooth keyboard. I think it's called like the Keyboard Trio or something like that. It's a decent keyboard cover, but I will say it typically costs just a little bit more, give or take. It depends on the market, but it's really close in quality. It's not too far behind, but it actually does have a Samsung DeX button, so you can open up Samsung DeX straight from your keyboard, and you also have the option of having square keys. Some of you might not like the circular keys from the Logitech K380, and I would not blame you one bit. So that's another option that you have available. So those are all great Bluetooth keyboard options. I will mention one of my favorite tempered glasses. I actually did order it directly from Amazon, so I will just put a link directly in the description. It has worked great with cases, but it does still give me just enough coverage to actually cover most of the screen, and I was able to apply it just fine. So I will put a link to my favorite tempered glass in the description, and I will also put links to some SD cards if you're looking for those, right? So that's another important thing, or even a USB-C hub. If you're looking for a USB-C hub, you're looking to connect your tablet to a monitor and maybe use Samsung DeX, that's definitely going to be something you're going to need, and even some Bluetooth mouses. I don't want to make this video too long, but I will put some of my favorite options in the description. So hopefully this video did help you out. If you did like it, please leave me a like on this video, and also check those links in the description because that's really the best way to support me as a creator. So I really do appreciate you using those links, of course. And if you have any more time, another way to support me is to check out some other videos, because I am covering a lot of stuff with the Tab S9, with the Tab S9 Ultra, and I will even be covering the Tab S9 Plus. So stay tuned to my channel for all of that. So thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, and I really hope you have a fantastic day, and I also hope you enjoy your week.